Man buys an entire village in Italy. What did he do to it? In recent years, Italy has been selling hundreds of homesteads almost for free, in pursuit of schemes aimed at attracting new residents, resulting in a wave of renewal within rural communities. But one man did not just buy one house. He bought an entire village. Scottish businessman Chisidio de Chaca has just finished renovating the small 16th century rural village of Borgo I Ciacca, named after his family. It is located in the rugged, wild Cucaria region, between the Italian cities of Rome and Naples, at the foot of Pechenescu. My grandparents, Chisidio and Marietta, left the village at the beginning of the 20th century in search of a better future, de Chaca said, adding that they immigrated to Scotland, leaving behind their village that had been forgotten for half a century. He added, "It has become a place inhabited by ghosts. I started to restore it over 10 years ago. It was a very difficult task, but it is finally coming to life again." Longing pushed him to return to the land of his ancestors. Having accumulated his financial resources as a lawyer and advisor, de Chaca decided to revitalize the village that his family had abandoned and revitalize its local economy. Previously, the village was a collection of ramshackle stone dwellings for farmers, barns and windowless storerooms with cracked doors and shaky staircases. Today, however, it is characterized by soft, pastel-colored buildings that have been meticulously redesigned, and a panoramic circular path overlooking the green hills. The village contains a winery, a conference hall, a library, and 2 pavilions to welcome guests eager to experience rural life cut off from the world. The Materano vineyards grow in this village, a rare variety that has been restored. De Chaca was born in the fishing village of Cockenzie, just outside Edinburgh, but his deep love for his native land was overwhelming. He recounted that, "My family did not lose touch with its roots, noting that every summer, during my childhood, my parents would bring me here to visit our relatives." Fully rooted and dusted off from the Borgo family's village. 140 previous owners. The first step was to track down all the owners of the 140 properties of the village spread over an area of 30 hectares, and this is a long and complicated procedure, made more difficult by the reality of migration that dispersed the villagers to all corners of the earth. The village was fragmented and divided among many heirs who often owned a corner of a house, or part of a pasture, or wooded or agricultural land, or just an olive tree, de Chaca said. According to Italian law dating back to the era of Napoleon, property does not pass to the eldest heir, but to each member of the family. Over the course of several generations, ownership was distributed among many families. The last inhabitant of the village, de Chaca said, was his great-aunt, who died in 1969. For the next 50 years, the already ruined hamlet swept over nature, and plants invaded the walls and doors. Remnants of former village life can still be seen everywhere, including wine bottles and nails in the ceilings that were used to hang sausages to dry. When the excavation began for restoration, ancient spoons, coins, and religious amulets were found. De Chaca explained that he needed to acquire the entire village in order to begin the restoration work, due to the complex ownership puzzle. "I was able to get my family's subhouse unit," he added, noting that it took me years to buy all the shares, and every small owner was offered the market value of the land, even if it wasn't worth it, so everyone got one offer. The local land registry and church helped him to identify many of the owners, but a genealogical tracing of Chacca was possible, because they remained in the area within walking distance of families and neighbors. De Chaca had to work hard to persuade several relatives to give up parts of their village, especially among those who were emotionally reluctant despite not using the property. Although he did not disclose the cost of the investment, De Chaca admits that he spent a large sum to revive the village, with most of the money going to rebuilding. "Oh, I don't even want to think about it," he commented, adding that it was definitely a pretty crazy initiative. The submodules weren't very expensive, it was the cost of renovation. Before its disappearance, the village of Borgo I Ciacca was like a thriving microcosm, in which 60 people lived in small houses of barely 50 square meters, or about 6 families. As part of the remodeling, the old residence's ovens and fireplaces, now used for pizza parties and summer get-togethers, were renovated. Each room is fitted with antique furniture. The village of Borgo I Ciacca celebrates local culinary traditions. During seminars and events, dinners and appetizers, guests are served homemade delicacies such as pecorino sheep cheese, black lard, ricotta goat cheese, and spiced pork dishes. "It all started as a hobby, then I realized that I needed to turn this dream into a sustainable business," De Chaca said. "When my daughter Sophia decided to quit her job in the company and take care of the vineyards, she turned the village of Borgo into a rural farm producing honey, jams, wine, extra virgin olive oil, and started organizing eco-friendly activities. In the village of 2,500 square meters, you now find a small cultural center and a conference room for academic meetings, food, and agricultural studies. There is also a restaurant for wine tasting, and a kitchen to give cooking lessons. The village has underfloor heating and a strong internet connection. Since the first harvest in 2017, its wine has won 3 international silver awards, and it is also exported abroad. Poco-like marathons are held in the spring, where people run up and down the vineyards, then relax in the small square where villagers once met to chat in the evening, after working in the fields. De Chaca explained that he did not change the interior of the rooms, maintaining the original design and rustic atmosphere, with relief stone walls and old thick wooden doors with metal screws. Still, tracking down 140 relatives was a small drop in the Italian bureaucracy, according to De Chaca, acknowledging that paperwork is frustrating, as he hired local youth to take care of his business while in Scotland. When a pandemic breaks out, De Chaca finds himself stranded in the village, whose unpolluted air and forgotten location he describes as a godsend. He spends most of the year at his grandparents' house with his wife, son, daughter, and now grandchildren. The village is the birthplace of Johnny, De Chaca's father, before his parents took him north to Scotland, where they worked in the ice cream trade. For more than 500 years, Borgo has belonged to their family, and as De Chaca's only living heir truly interested in her revival, he wants to protect her future. "I want this village to be a pivotal hub for all Scottish Italians abroad who want to go back, reconnect with their roots, and perhaps even support the lands by unleashing activities and opportunities for growth," he said.